But first, the Morrison government's announcement today, its latest preparations for war. Sorry, don't mention the war. Don't mention the war. That was actually funny when it was in Fawlty Towers.
Don't mention the war. I mentioned it once, but I think I got away with it all right.
Will you stop talking about the war?
Me? You started it?
We did not start it.
Yes, you did. You invaded Poland.
Like I said, a joke there. But it's actually alarming when it's Penny Wong now shouting, "Don't mention the war." Penny Wong is Labor's foreign affairs spokesman. She could be Annex's foreign minister, and she was angry yesterday with Mike Pezzullo, who's head of the Home Affairs Department. As I said last night, Pezzullo told his staff on Anzac Day, we could once again hear the drums of war out there. He didn't need to say it was China banging that war drum, but he didn't have to. We all know. And he warned that while we should search unceasingly for the chance for peace, we should be also bracing again, yet again, for the curse of war. Now, Wong was horrified. I mean, why was this man saying such things, mentioning the war? She demanded the Morrison government explain how such warnings further Australia's national interests. How they further our national interests, to speak the truth. Well, let me give you first some context before we get to that defence announcement today. China's dictator Xi Jinping insists that he wants to take Taiwan, which is an island democracy with 24 million people, an island that he claims is actually China's. And its defence ministry warns that Taiwan independence means war. Sorry, but Penny Wong says we should not mention this war. China regularly now sends up to 25 warplanes to fly over and test Taiwan's air defences. And President Xi has told his army 3 times in the past year or so to prepare for war. But Penny Wong says don't mention this war. America's Asia-Pacific commander, Admiral Philip Davidson, said the other day, China has been very aggressive from its border with India across to Japan and Taiwan to its east, and it could invade Taiwan very soon.
Hong Kong and Xinjiang and Tibet and a line of actual control in the South China Sea and the East China Sea. I worry that they're accelerating their ambitions to supplant the United States. They've long said that they want to do that by 2050. I'm worried about them moving that target closer. Taiwan is clearly one of their ambitions before then. And I think the threat is manifest during this decade, in fact, in the next 6 years.
But Penny Wong says, don't mention that war. Chinese Major General Jin Yinan, a professor at China's National Defence University, that's the Army's Defence University, this week said China's critics in Australia were just Anglo-Saxon whites and Christian whites who felt they should be the leaders of the world, and that this group of Australians are entrenched white supremacists and have to learn that if they do intervene in the Taiwan Strait issue, it will only bring them disaster. But Penny Wong, she says, don't mention that war. Our Defence Minister, Peter Dutton, last weekend warned war cannot now be ruled out.
I don't think it should be discounted. I think China has been very clear about the reunification, and that's been a long-held objective of theirs. And if you look at any of the rhetoric that's coming out of China from spokesmen, particularly in recent weeks and months in response to different suggestions that have been made, they've been very clear about that goal. And but again, nobody wants to see...
How do you view that? How do you view that? I mean, we've seen a lot of aggression from China with incursions into Taiwan's airspace, live-fire Navy drills off the coast of Taiwan. How do you view all that?
I just think people need to be realistic about the activity. When there's militarisation of bases across the region, obviously there's a significant amount of activity.
But please, how many times must Penny Wong say it? Don't mention this war. And yet, our allies are also so worried about the threat from China. Britain this week even said it's sending a fleet of British warships and military aircraft to the Pacific, sending a message. But Penny Wong, Labor's Foreign Affairs spokesman, she says don't mention the war. The Morrison government, though, is now ramping up spending on weapons suitable for a war with China. This year it invested in more guided missiles, for instance, and today the Prime Minister said it'd spend $750 million to upgrade defence facilities in our north. These are facilities, bases that we can use for military exercises with the United States, which is really training for war with China, or as Morrison preferred to put it, for preparing for peace, for defending freedom.
What this means is Australia will be able to continue to play a very significant role. Australia has agency in our region, positive agency. We work right across the government in all the areas that we have that opportunity, diplomatic and other channels, to work with partners in the region to ensure that our region is safe, that it is stable, and there is a balance that favours freedom ultimately.
Now this is good, but it's all a bit late though. I mean, Australia has a small defence force, just 60,000 people. We have new submarines on order that won't be delivered for decades. We ban nuclear power and nuclear weapons, as well as nuclear subs, so we haven't got the best subs coming, and our deterrence is weak. But Penny Wong says, don't mention the war. Which makes me wonder, what exactly is Labor's strategy? Is it to leave the public totally in the dark, totally ignorant of the threat until it's just too late, to leave us so complacent that we don't even know the sacrifices we must make to defend ourselves until it's too late to make them?